search and graduate school applications.
Yeah, this is career coach 101 here. This is like you were in it.
It's important to know that you can use those skills and not only use those, but a tip is that you can put that on your resume.
So having that connection to yourself and to your family. Hello and welcome to Career View Mirror. I'm your host, Joyel Crawford, and today's special guest is Karan Ferrell-Rhodes. She is the CEO of Shockingly Different Leadership, and in addition to being the CEO, she's a learning and OD strategist who focuses on facilitation, program and workshop design, and it also is a dynamic colleague and coach of mine. And at Shockingly Different Leadership, they live to equip and empower HR, learning, organizational design, and talent functions to help their organizations become future ready today. Welcome, Karan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on the show because you're my first HR person. We never, yay, one of my people. And Karan, if for those who are listening and viewing, Karan and I have never met in person. We have been talking for probably about 3-4 years now, though.
Yeah.
We've known
you forever.
We met through a mutual colleague of ours, and we actually work for several other similar clients. And we've created this wonderful collaboration. And it just dawned on me, Joy, you haven't had any HR people, your peeps, on the show. So I'm so glad that you're here today. How would you specifically describe your career, Karan?
Honestly, my career has been a hodgepodge. And that might not be a popular thing to admit when you're coaching people that are focused on their careers. But I will say that I started out in school wanting to be an industrial organizational psychologist, but fell in love with the world of business as well and didn't want to do curriculum or clinical work, or for a university. So I decided I wanted to be on the people side of business, and lo and behold, there was something called human resources out there. And that's what kind of made me go into that area to start with. But I will say I am that girl, right? That loves to do things outside of the box. And so I, throughout my career, I was hired as one thing under the umbrella of HR always. And then I was that person that was tapped on to do the special projects. So if it was an acquisition, or if it was a transformation, or anything on the people side of business, because I do have a very strategic mind, I was the one to tap on. So as a benefit of that, I've been able to do multiple things and have multiple roles on the people side of work.
And thank you for sharing that. When you graduated from school with your degree in strategic and organizational development, did you just automatically get a job in HR, or did you have to work your way in, or how did that all work? How did that first HR job work for you?
That's a great question. And as those who go into or trying to get a break into HR knows, it's kind of hard to do so. It's a very protected industry because of the level of confidentiality, and you're dealing with people day in, day out. It's hard to break in, even if you're a new grad. So actually, my first real job out of college was working for the Small Business Administration as a consultant for small businesses. I was employed by the Small Business Administration.
Wow.
But I was able to do HR consulting work for being paid to do that as an employee for small businesses who didn't have HR personnel. So that was my first tiptoeing in to get some experience. And then once I got a couple years under my belt, then other companies started calling me in for other additional opportunities.
That's fantastic. And so did you work in corporate how long did you work in corporate at all? Or did you just straight up start your own consultancy?
Oh no, I worked in corporate for over 18 years. So
Yes, me too. We're twins.
yes. After the small business administration start, almost my entire career from that point on has been in corporate, except for about a year and a half stint in government. That wasn't ideal for me. So went back to corporate. But my longest stints, I did a 13 and a half year stint at Microsoft. And previous to that, I was at other big companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield and AT&T.
Wow.
And the corporate entities like that.
Yeah, Verizon Wireless.
Verizon.
Right out of school. Yep. I started in customer service and then wormed my way into human resources.
Oh,
So that's amazing that we kind of have similar paths where we went from the corporate path and then you decided to make the switch to share your talents with other organizations. So what was that like, leaving the corporate entity or the corporate world and transitioning into your own practice?
Well, it was extremely exciting. It was something that I've always wanted to do. My parents were entrepreneurial in nature as well, although they did have full-time roles as educators. They always had other small businesses as well. So I was used to that blended work style with having a stable role while also doing other things. So I always had that entrepreneurial bug.
Nice.
And I must admit, Joy, in full transparency, I had some assistants. So
Okay.
when I was working at Microsoft, I actually was part of a special program before it was really cool to have one. It was like an incubator program. So I was able to start my own firm on a small scale before I actually had to give up the paycheck.
Nice.
A lot of people don't have that. So I always tell them the story that it is helpful to have a jump start while you have a full paycheck to pay the light bill.
Yes, before you jump out, have your side hustle, like something on the side.
Or the very minimum, save up for the time it take to ramp at a very minimum.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Karen. That is great advice because I had survival money saved up, but I did not know that I needed startup money. And that is a whole different kind of
different umbrella.
It's a whole other lump of cash that you need to have in hand.
Definitely.
It's quite hefty. So how long have you been in business with Shockingly Different Leadership?
Full time since 2014. I was 2.5 years working corporate and doing consulting, but yes, full time since 2014.
All right, so 2016 for me. I thought again. I was like, oh my gosh, another parallel.
Just a little bit before, not too much before you.
So as you went into the practice of helping other organizations, why is it important for businesses to be future ready today?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think you read any kind of article or you look at the news or look in the world of business. With technology, there's not a single industry alive out there that is not changing at a nanosecond.
Right.
And organizations, in order to be competitive, even if they're charities or nonprofits, in order to be competitive and stay in business and stay viable, you've got to not only plan for now, but you have to plan for the future as well. So one of the founding guiding principles that I had of my firm was that we needed to help organizations become future ready today. So help them bridge the gap of what they needed assistance on now, but also have a forward thinking, foresight to help them kind of gauge what's the next big thing that they're going to need to prepare for so that they can stay competitive.
That's very, very helpful. So, do you do this through consulting and facilitation? Do you have like a team? I did see a team of people like all over the world.
I do. So my firm started out as a solopreneur. But then because I had such a varied background in HR, talent development, ODOE, you name it, firms started asking for those types of services as well. So about 2 years into being full-time, 2016 is when we actually changed our business model to provide more of those services. So we actually created divisions of consultants that worked in each one. We do have employees within our firm, and then we do also have a network of consultants that we pull in for bigger projects.
Right.
So yeah.
This
So
is
yes, we do have
fantastic.
all over the world. Yes.
All over the global. They are global, everyone. If who's listening and watching, they are global, worldwide.
Worldwide. Yes.
What's one myth, you know, since we know the realities of working in human resources and working with talent development and in humans in general in the workspace, what's one myth that you in working in HR that you'd like to eliminate, like just dispel?
Oh, there's so many.
We'll have
I
you
would
on
say
for another episode.
Well, I would just, and I'll just say from my perspective, and please poke holes in it if you've had a different perspective. But most HR people are not there to be HR police of an organization. They're genuinely there to be a true business partner and help the organization succeed. And their heart, mind, body, efforts, and soul is totally behind helping all employees and managers and leaders in the organization be the best that they can be, so that the organization can be the best that they can be. But I remember when I first got into HR, and you go into a new company and get introduced to new employees, and they kind of shun because they're like, okay, the HR police is coming, and we're really not that. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to function in that type of role if there's some gross misconduct, but 99.9% of the time, we're a collaborator with whoever we're working with.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. We are not the popo. We are like supposed to help. I remember when I started in a different HR department, and people were so scared of approaching the human resources department that no one came into the office. So I was just like, let's meet people where they are. So you know how Lucy has her advice, little booth for 5 cents. Well, I created this desk where it was called mobile HR. And we would set up our desk outside of the cafeteria and have 2 different shifts, like an AM and a PM shift, because we were in a call center. And we just talked about whatever HR related issues, obviously not confidential, but if we had like a benefits package or something to roll out, or wanted to talk about the employee assistance program or whatever it was that was happening, it got more people to come up and see us and be more visible, and that we were humans, that we weren't like trying to like crack down and be the law. So and then what we started to see was more people felt comfortable coming into the office. And so that is exactly a myth that needs to be busted. But I definitely think we need to have you back on so that we could just have a Mythbusters about HR.
I love that.
I would love to write a book, but it just, because of confidentiality, I just wouldn't be able to. Goodness.
That's what makes it exciting, when you can put a name to something. But with confidentiality, you can't do that.
You can't do it. I mean, there's been all these different shows, like Superstore and The Office. And every time I watch The Office, I'm always like, oh my gosh, that poor HR person.
I know. It makes you cringe.
Speaking of all the different things, the wonderful things that you do within your organization, you had a why. You had your company's why on your website. But what is your why? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Oh, honestly, I absolutely live for, my gift is what I call strategic ideation. So I live in a world of possibilities, and I absolutely love, first of all, I love business and the world of work. I just eat that up. I've always have since day one in my career. But I absolutely love brainstorming potential solutions for organizations when they're lost or when they're not sure, and their hearts are in the right place and they want to do the right thing for their people and their teams, but they're not quite sure how. I love, love, love rolling up my sleeves and let's, whiteboard and see what we can come up with. But the strategic side of me is also very good about taking those world of possibilities and narrowing them down until what are the most viable options and seeing through. So that I would do free every day of the week if I didn't have a light bill to pay. So
Exactly.
but yes, I absolutely love that. And what saddens me a little bit is that in some organizations, not all, but some, human resources is not necessarily prioritized to invest in. I'm a big proponent of business leaders you need to prioritize your human resources efforts, whatever you're biting off for the next 6 to 8 months or 12 months for priorities for your people. Invest in them.
Yes.
Spend the dollars, invest in your HR staffs and people, and give them the resources that they need to help your people be successful. And I always say, it's so unfortunate that the very people who are accountable for taking care of organizations people have to fight, steal, beg, plead for the resources to do that. And that's one of the reasons why I started my firm, to be that partner with them to, once they did get the investment and needed a thought partner, I wanted to raise my hand and be the first available.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And now I have a team.
And now you have a global team. Global.
Global. Yes.
So I, for anyone who may be listening and not viewing us, Karan is a woman of color. And so there's that, we've got woman and we've got woman of color and business owner. So obviously you've experienced some challenges. Are there any specific key challenges in your career that were turning points that made you look at things a little differently, or kind of help you come over some I guess just any challenges that you overcame, being the unique person that you are?
Yes, that's a great question. Absolutely. I would be not telling the truth if I said it was an easy ride of building and growing the firm. Most of my career, though, I have been in male-dominated industries like engineering and oil and gas and technology and what have you. So in the corporate space, I was kind of used to looking to find my voice, to try to be impactful, to find a way around those who weren't as familiar with people that looked like me or thought like me, and finding a bridge. So those skills that I built while in corporate were very helpful when I started the firm. I'm sure that those lenses are still out there as we're evaluated for projects or contracts or RFPs. But I've chosen to lead my firm how I would love to be treated. And those that I hire or team members that we partner with, I look for those who have those same values. So if we come to the table with immense acumen, have a history of doing excellent work, and are providing value add to our clients to the point that they're recommending us, then that should be a strong enough story for others to consider us. And if it's not, then we're not the right people to partner with. And we're okay.
That's okay. I mean, but I think it's beautiful that you reflect the clientele or the client or customers that all businesses should be reflecting, of all of our different types of differences and the diversity of thought, as well as all the different types of things that make us unique. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that. Thanks.
Sure.
So I love this question. This is one of my favorite questions on this show.
Uh-oh, embrace.
Favorite question time. Favorite question time. So my favorite question to ask is, if you could think back to little Karen, like young Karen, what would be one or two pieces of career or leadership advice that you would give to young Karen?
Oh, wow, what a doozy. Oh, let's see, young Karen, let me talk to you. Whew. I would probably say, so by nature, I'm extremely people oriented and am sensitive to comments and feelings. And, I love the whole world to sing Kumbaya together if I could, impact that. And early in my career, when you had rhythms like, performance reviews, and I'm not gonna would never had a bad performance review, but there are always things that you can do even better in coaching. I would even take the one little thing that they'll say, oh, you could just improve upon, and I would just agonize over it for days and days and days. So for Karen, little Karen, I would say, don't be so sensitive. Feedback is a gift. It continues to be a gift, of which I've adopted throughout my career. And that, yeah, just continue to appreciate people for what they are, the comments and feedback that they give. And then, you do the same. You give, comments and feedback to empower others as well. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you so much for that. And young Karen thanks you, I'm sure. I'm sure she thanks you for that.
I'm sure she does.
That is fantastic advice, because again, we kind of take that feedback and put it in our baggage bag, and put it in there, and we trudge back to the office, or now, as we're in this pandemic situation, trudge back to our home office, and it weighs us down. It can weigh us down. That one word, or the just a little bit more, or the 0.5% that, and it really can. It is a gift. It is a gift.
It is a gift.
Yourself. So.
Yeah.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much for being on the show, Karan Ferrell-Rhodes.
Thanks for having me. I cannot believe it took this long for us to connect via online, right?
I know, right? It's so weird. We're old school though. Like we just picked up the phone and had a conversation.
Yeah.
Now, nowadays you've got to be on camera and have the lights and everything else. So, but I'm so glad that you're on the show, and that you could give us a sneak peek into the world of human resources, and how you were able to do it, build your career, and then also expand it so that other businesses can reap the benefits of your skills and your talents. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And if you want to learn more about Shockingly Different leadership, you can go to their website. I will be putting it down in the comments below. And if you like what you saw, please subscribe and share this with everybody. Thank you so much for watching Career View Mirror, and I'll see you later. Bye.